As you may know, civil war has been raging in Yemen for years now. It's a battleground for regional dominance in a sense, as Houthi rebels backed by Iran fight the internationally recognised Sunni government backed by Saudi Arabia, and of course the US, the UK and France support the Saudis in opposition to Iran. So you have a kind of proxy war going on, which is also a sectarian conflict. One cannot help but notice that over the past 3 years, the war in Yemen has not been front and centre with certain Western media outlets. Yeah, certain things have been covered, flashpoints and warnings of humanitarian crises, but the war as a whole, at least from my perspective, looking at how some of the mainstream big boys have covered this, it seems to be put over as a sideshow. Just the Middle East on fire again. What can you do? Now, the UN is giving a stark warning. Yemen is on the edge of what could be the worst famine the world has seen in 100 years. This is a country of over 28 million people, and we're told that 13 million people are on the verge of starvation. We're mere months away from this reality, and rest assured, it's Saudi Arabian airstrikes which are making a terrible situation worse and worse. This is a man-made famine. 13 million people, that's more than the total combined populations of Ireland and Scotland in danger of dying from malnutrition. Also in this kind of environment you get cholera outbreaks. There have been large-scale vaccination drives which have no doubt saved many lives, but there have been lots of preventable deaths also, which of course includes many young children. UNICEF Executive Director Henrietta Fore said several months ago that Yemen was being pushed, quote, deep into the abyss by the war. Having visited the poverty-stricken republic, she said, social services are barely functional, the economy is in ruins, prices have soared, hospitals have been damaged, schools have been turned into shelters, or have been taken over by armed groups, unquote. And yeah, the currency has collapsed. Food prices keep going up. It's a complete nightmare for a country that was already poor before this war began. The UN does what it can. Very courageous people going above and beyond on the ground, working for or working with the United Nations, but as always the UN is powerless in many ways. It can't stop the war, and until the war is stopped, the humanitarian disaster continues to play out. And if the worst case scenario does play out, what then? Millions and millions of people starving to death. Where do the fingers point? The Yemeni government and their Saudi and Western backers? The rebels and the Iranian government? Lisa Grande, the humanitarian coordinator for Yemen, said that this kind of famine, this kind of event, was unthinkable for many of us in the 21st century, that the horrors of the past should be repeated. And when asked by a BBC reporter if she thought we should be ashamed, she said yes. No question. Billions of pounds, or billions of dollars, which could have been used to help support, feed innocent people caught up in this conflict, has been spent on arms, guns, bombs, missiles, weapons used to batter and bloody the country of Yemen. Yeah. I'm going to link to the UNICEF UK site below, where you can make a donation to help children in danger. You can make a monthly or a single donation your choice. This organisation, it doesn't have anywhere near the funding necessary to help all children in need, but if you can spare a few quid, it can save lives. It really can. If you can't afford to donate, which is obviously a reality for many people, then sharing links around can really be helpful also. So yeah, whatever you can do would be appreciated. It's life and death for the most vulnerable.